The big news today, really, we're seeing gold break out at the moment. We did, for those of you who joined us for yesterday's natural gas webinar that we did, we were looking at a potential breakout on gold. We have had that breakout today, so we'll take a look at that further. So well done to anybody who caught that trade. There still are further trade opportunities today on that too. So we are currently at over 2-month highs on gold. So the big news is gold price soaring to 2-month highs on weak US economic data. So the gold price soared yesterday and today to 2-month highs on weaker than expected US news. Sharp falls in the US dollar coincided with the losses in the US stock indexes, boosting safe haven demand for gold. Gold price surged up $26 to $1,266. It's now gone up to $1,272. Within the first 2 hours of yesterday's New York Open, sending gold to its highest level since mid-November. Meanwhile, reports in Asia indicate the leader of the Indian National Congress Party, Sonia Gandhi, urged the government to loosen the nation's import restrictions on gold, which help fuel gold buying, and India has historically been the largest consumer of gold in the world until last year when China took the lead position. So looking ahead to next week, traders will focus, this focus will shift towards the highly anticipated first FOMC meeting of 2014 scheduled for January 28th to 29th. So that's going to be next week, midweek. During the FOMC policy meeting in December, the US Central Bank decided to cut its historic quantitative easing program by $10 billion to $75 billion a month, as gold prices continue to be directly linked to what happens in the US economy. So the recent weaker than expected US data could prompt the Fed to proceed with caution in tapering its quantitative easing program. Big question now is whether the Fed will continue with tapering or put their plans on hold. Regardless of the outcome, this event will certainly generate high levels of volatility for the US dollar and commodity prices, making this a trading opportunity not to be missed. So that's going to be a huge event next week. Before we go on to the technicals and the top trades of the week, just for those of you who've not been on our Commodities Corner before, some background on myself, Nick, and the Gold and Silver Club. I'm Phil Carr, professional trader, and speaker. I'm the co-founder and director of the Gold and Silver Club. I specialize in teaching people how to make money from trading the most lucrative financial markets in the world, so gold, silver, oil, the commodity currencies. I've trained thousands of individuals to become independent traders and successfully manage their own investment portfolio, and I'm responsible for the research and development of the Gold and Silver Club trademark strategies that have a proven track record of generating returns for traders. Also a regular contributor to a number of financial publications and speak at numerous trading seminars, webinars, and workshops. Joining me in running the Gold and Silver Club is Nik Kalsi, professional trader, investment analyst, and speaker. Nik began his career within private wealth management in 2002 before making the transition into proprietary trading. Prior to co-founding the Gold and Silver Club, he spent over 5 years coaching professional fund managers and traders internationally for some of the world's top-tier hedge funds and investment banks. And through his first-hand relationship with some of the world's most successful traders, discovered the formula, mindset, and tools that give any individual the definitive edge to trade in any economy. And also regularly writes for a number of global business and financial publications, and we've appeared frequently on financial television. So that's some background on the Gold and Silver Club. Let's take a look over at the gold price right now. We are currently at $1,269 an ounce and 50 cents. So we're a little bit off the daily high, hardly though, and the US session is going to open shortly. We should, if we get a follow through from the UK session here, see some buying over the US session. So we'll be looking at that, and we'll look at what trade setups are starting to form as well. So before we do that, let's look at the top trades of the week using the Gold and Silver Club signature trading strategies. It's been a very active week on the market, so there's been a lot of trade opportunities. So first of all, we did have a nice sell short opportunity earlier in the week on gold. We came up to a key resistance level 1261, produced a nice sell short setup. We just entered for a short at 1251, price to be lower. Very simply, that delivered. We came back down to support at 1236. Trade was won. Brent crude oil this week, we've had some great opportunities on Brent, WTI, and natural gas as we've continued to break out, as discussed on yesterday's webinar too. So we had a nice rise trade midweek here on Brent crude oil, just a breakout above 107.20. Very simply, you can either trade that via the crude index or just via Brent oil directly on binary.com. So that was just for the price to be higher than 107.20, and that delivered nicely over the period of the day. WTI crude oil also broke out to traded using the crude oil index rise trade for the price to be higher, and the buy entry there was 95.28, and we finished about 150 points higher there. So that moved very nicely indeed. Natural gas, again, traded by the natural gas index. If you don't know how to trade natural gas, go to the binary.com, the YouTube channel, and you can rewatch yesterday's webinar all about how to trade natural gas. Would highly recommend that if you would like to start trading some of the other energies as well. So we discussed that yesterday, and we had a breakout on natural gas this week, midweek above 4.50 Fibonacci, and that traded very nicely just using the natural gas index price to be higher, and we profited on that too. And finally, the Australian US dollar, which has been very much in a downtrend all week, and we broke through 3-year lows yesterday, has had a lot of sell short opportunities. In fact, we broke down to new lows, new 3-year lows just this morning. There's been a lot of opportunities just to continue with the downtrend. The trend is your friend. So there's been a lot of full trades just selling below 0.8842 on Australian US dollar. So there's been a lot of opportunities to take advantage of that too. So what I shall do, just get my charts ready for you here. There are a few trade opportunities actually lining up now. Fridays are normally pretty active on the commodities market, so today is no exception to that. Let's just get everything lined up for you here. Okay, that's okay. So we're going to move you on to my charts for some live technical analysis. We are going to look at the rise and fall type of trades on binary.com. Very simple. If you select rises, you win the payout. If the market exit price is strictly higher than the entry price, and if you select falls, you win the payout if the market exit price is strictly lower than the entry price. So with that, we're going to move across to the live charts, and we'll look at some setups. Okay, so for anybody who took the trade yesterday on gold for a breakout, will be pleased today because we are breaking out on gold at the moment. I'm just going to take you out to the weekly time frame. You can see on the weekly, since we capitulated right at the end of the year, we had that nice big hammer on the weekly. This is now the 4th week in a row where we've finished with a higher low and a higher high. 4 hammers in a row on the weekly. It looks like gold is set to come up and kiss 1276 today. We might even get a breakout above that. We've finally broken out of this downward trend line that we've been in since September 2013. So we did break out today. We look like we're finishing the week strong on the weekly highs. We're at 2-month highs at the moment on gold. Got a little bit of a pullback here just prior to the US Open. So I'm happy to take the trade at the moment on gold for a breakout from the current price too. Okay, so we're going to move across to commodities. Very simply going to go to gold. I want to be out of this trade by the end of the day. So I'm just going to do hours. And 1268 is the current price. So just going to, I think it's probably going to be 7 or 8 hours that will be the close of today. Okay, good. So there we go. We've got an 84% payout there. That's fine on gold for it to be above 1268.84. So let's just get best price here. Okay, so I'm going to go for that because we've got a breakout today. There we go. So that's my first trade setup of the day, really. This breakout here on gold. We're probably might pause a little bit just before the American Open. You can see clearly we're getting a breakout here at the moment. I'll be looking for the market to come here to 1276 today. We're getting a breakout also ahead of next week's FOMC announcement on Wednesday. So that is going to be a very lucrative trading opportunity on Wednesday. But we're finishing the week on the weekly highs more or less here. So we'll see how that does over the period of today. Next market, we will take a look. Actually, let me bring you across to the US dollar index. This is the US dollar index here, which is moved down. We've actually come and hit a Fibonacci level just today. We gave back nearly all of the gains from January on the US dollar index based on very poor US data yesterday. That really helped to move gold and silver to the upside to get a breakout yesterday. Now we are finding a little bit of support around the, you can see this key level on the chart, which is, bear with me, around the 80 level. Here you go, 80.10. This is where we found support today. Key Fibonacci level. However, the candle's not done for the day yet. That is the daily candle. On the 4 hour here, we can see that we're just getting probably some profit taking because we've had a massive fall on the US dollar index, and that would have been a key level that a lot of short sellers were targeting on the US dollar index. If we take a look at natural gas, we discussed this yesterday that we were looking for to see how the candle closed, if it closed bearish or not. It didn't actually. It closed fairly strong. We're getting another breakout today. I don't think the natural gas is going to pause properly, really, until we see the market come up to 5.10 here. We're getting a really nice breakout. For those of you who are in yesterday's webinar, there are a lot of seasonal factors which are causing natural gas to spike at the moment, not least of all the very cold weather there's been in America, which has caused a surge in the demand for natural gas. So I'm also going to take a trade in natural gas. So very simply, we're going to go to sectors. I want to go on the natural gas. So I'm going to go to energy sector. I want to trade this through natural gas index. Probably be about 3 hours or so this trade. Got to go a bit tighter than that. Okay, so that's pretty good. We've got a 91% payout on natural gas here, and I'll just put you into a tighter time frame. Look at the weekly. Look at that, finishing weekly highs. We're actually finishing on 2-year highs here, finishing really strong the week. On the 4 hour time frame, got a little bit of a bounce, a retracement of 4.986, but I think over the course of the US session, we're just going to continue momentum here on natural gas. So I'm going to take the trade. So it's 2 hour time frame and 91% payout on that for a 1,305 deposit for 2,500. Okay, good. That's been done. Let's move it back to the other markets here. So you can see Brent and WTI. Let's look at WTI as well. WTI and Brent, they're getting a bit of a pullback, to be expected. They've had a fantastic run this week. You can see actually at its peak, WTI has moved over 400 points this week, so it's pretty good. And we've moved off a very key trend line for this breakout. And where we are at the moment, we're getting a little bit of a pause here. Actually, on the 4 hour, quite like that hammer that's developing on the 4 hour. It's got another 75 minutes until it closes. So we'll see. That's not ready to trade yet. Brent as well. Brent is getting a nice pullback here on Brent too. You can see very quickly it's probably again some profit taking, although that's a bit overextended, but we've had a really nice breakout, nice 150 point breakout this week. If we close a nice strong hammer here, it's not ready yet either to trade, but it could be later today. So we'll keep an eye on Brent too. I want to see how that closes over the next 75 minutes or so. If it's a really nice strong dragonfly doji, it could give us a nice trade opportunity. So that's not quite ready yet. Australian US dollar, massively bearish at the moment based on the weekly, the weekly time frames, and also the monthly has really given the signal here. We've had 3 months ago in September, we had a massive inverse hammer on the monthly, which then resulted in last 3 months or so, mass big downtrend. There's nothing really to stop the market getting down to 0.85443. I think ultimately that's where we're headed next. There's really no key support where the market is right now. We've just got to time it right. So we've had quite a nice move overnight as well. You can see on the weekly, we broke down past last week's lows. The only thing which I'll be a bit wary of is gold. If gold does break out, that will naturally bring up the Australian US dollar. It will correlate. So you just need to watch out for that because gold is breaking out. You can see there's some momentum to the upside here. So I want to see really how a lot of money we've made on Australian US dollar this week already. I'm just going to see how this moves over the next 4 hour time frames. It's got about 75 minutes until that closes. Let's look at copper. Copper at the moment as well. We had a nice breakdown in copper this week. Copper also dragging silver down a bit. We had some news out of China this week, which about the manufacturing data, which was bearish for copper and also silver as well. We've got this big downward, silver being an industrial metal, copper as well. We've got quite a large downward trending channel, which has been in place since the beginning of the year here, and we did get a breakdown. We're breaking below key 50-day moving average. This is potentially lining up for a good setup next week. At the moment, the money's already been made. I'll just be seeing how we're going to, if we're going to break below 3.27 yesterday's low later today, or we're going to find support and potentially come back to the top of this resistance channel. So it's not ready to trade yet either. Silver, silver having a cheeky attempt at this resistance line, same as gold. So just go to my other chart. What is gold doing? Gold's at 1268. So silver looks like it wants to break out. We've got this key resistance channel which has been in place as well since August 2013. You can see we've had a lot of attempts of this level. If gold does continue to break out, silver will be next. We just need it to edge a little bit higher here. If we can get above yesterday's high of 2020, let's look at the 4-hour. It's got a little bit more work to do. I would definitely watch silver. It's not quite ready yet. Gold is ready. Natural gas is ready. Silver is getting close to a breakout. Here, we needed to break above yesterday's high. So I would be keeping an eye on the correlation with gold here. If gold can just continue this momentum, get to 1276. Ideally, if it can get above 1276 and clear through some of these resistance levels, then we're going to see a lot of buying interest. You start seeing pending orders get triggered, and we should get a sustained breakout. On the weekly, it looks really good for a proper breakout here. Let's look at silver on the weekly. Oh, silver, nice hammer there on the weekly, which could lead us well into next week. We'll see how we close here, but it does look like it wants to build a base at the moment, although we've got the FMC next week and then we've got the Chinese New Year. So any moves to the upside might be short-lived. I'm not expecting this to be the bottom for the market at the moment. I think short-term wise it looks good, but as we move into the Federal Reserve announcement next week will be important. We're right at key resistance levels here, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Federal Reserve, just as you start seeing a lot of gold bugs and silver bugs getting into the market, pulls the rug from under all the buyers' feet, and we just see a massive sell-off. So that will be next Wednesday, but I think there's still some buying opportunities between now and then. The Chinese New Year, which we've got from the 31st of January, which will be towards the end of next week, China go on a week-long holiday, which means there's no buying occurring overnight, which normally supports the gold and silver market. This is where we could, again, see another fall back down within this downward trending channel. But for now, for today, we're getting a breakout. Probably into early next week, we've got a breakout to take advantage of. But I'm not saying that this is going to be your opportunity of a lifetime to buy gold. I don't think it is. And silver, just day trade it and take advantage of the day-to-day moves that we're seeing at the moment. Okay, so that's really top picks of today. So I would be looking at gold, continued breakout today. Watch silver, see if we're going to get a breakout here. Oil and WTI both worth a watch, but not ready yet. Natural gas is, I believe, going to only needs to finish 1 point higher than your on the index than it is at the moment. You'll win the entire trade, so I quite like that for a breakout at the moment. So we'll see how the US market opens this afternoon. I'm going to talk you through key news as we move into next week too. Okay, so the key news announcements you want to be watching next week. Actually, before doing so, if you've never received this before and you're new to the Commodities Corner, a little bit of a reward for you for being on today's webinar. I would take advantage of this because it's a bonus for you. So it's $20 trading credit or £20 trading credit, just using bonus code 11121F20. You just go to binary.com, select sign up, open real money account, enter that bonus code, and you get £20 or $20 trading credit for your binary trading. So the week ahead, the key events looking forward, Next week on Monday, we have the US new home sales. So that's at 3 p.m. GMT, 10 a.m. Eastern time. That measures the analyzed number of new single-family homes that were sold during the previous month. That report tends to have more impact when it's released ahead of existing home sales because the reports are tightly correlated. So that's going to affect the US dollar index, which will affect your gold silver trade. So that's important. Monday at 3 o'clock. Higher than expected readings should be taken as bullish for the US dollar. A lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. Then on Tuesday, 28th of January, again, this will affect the US dollar and gold and silver. US consumer confidence at 3 p.m. GMT, 10 a.m. Eastern time. That measures the level of consumer confidence in the economic activity. It's a leading indicator as it can predict consumer spending, which plays a major role in overall economic activity. A higher reading points to higher consumer optimism. So a higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar. A lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. Next Wednesday, of course, US crude oil inventories. That's great if you trade oil. Make sure you've got that in the diary. 3:30 p.m. GMT, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So the US crude oil inventories report, the data reports the number of barrels of crude oil commercial firms have in inventory. And commercial firms report their inventory levels to the Energy Information Administration on a weekly basis. So a higher than expected reading should be taken as bearish for crude oil, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bullish. And then moving, the most important announcement of next week, if you're going to trade any announcement, the FOMC statement is a highly lucrative trading opportunity. There's a lot of volatility on this announcement. It should give us further direction as we move into the end of the month and into February for the gold and silver market. It's the primary tool by the Federal Reserve used to communicate with traders. It contains the outcome of their vote on interest rates and other policy measures. So if you remember, in December, they started their tapering, and that caused a nice move down to 1180 for gold from around about the 1230, 1240 level. That was a huge trading opportunity. So you can actually trade the FOMC statement with us live with all our Gold and Silver Club traders. I'll talk you through how you can find out more about that if you do want to trade that live. It is one of those announcements where you really need to know how to trade it to make the most out of it. I'll give you more information on that in a sec. If the Fed is hawkish about the inflationary outlook, the economy, and rises the interest rates, that is viewed as bullish for the US dollar, while dovish outlook is viewed as bearish for the US dollar, and that inversely affects gold and silver. Next Thursday, 30th of January at 1:30 p.m. GMT, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we have the US initial jobless claims. So the initial jobless claims report measures the number of people filing first-time claims for state unemployment insurance. This is a strong indicator of strength in the US labor market. So a higher than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bullish. So that will affect gold and silver again on Thursday. And finally, US natural gas storage, nice, predictable announcement every week. That's at 3:30 p.m. GMT, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Again, if you missed yesterday's webinar, how to trade natural gas, go to the Binary.com YouTube channel and watch that, over the weekend if you get a chance, because it's we're talking through it. The Energy Information Administration, the EIA natural gas storage report measures the change in the number of cubic feet of natural gas held in underground storage during the past week. So while that is a US indicator, it tends to have a greater impact also on the USD Canadian dollar due to its Canada's very sizable energy sector. And that's important because the CAD is very correlated to oil price as well. And of course, you can trade that also through the natural gas index too. So those are the major announcements you want to be watching next week. I'd say the most important ones are going to be the FOMC statement. That's going to be a very lucrative trading event. If you want to find out more about how to trade that live with the Gold and Silver Club, you can find out more about how to join our exclusive community, how to get invites to our live trading room as well, and more about our Gold and Silver Club workshops too. You can very simply do so. You can get in touch with us at one of our international offices, depending on which country, which region you are in. You can call us on our London, New York, or Johannesburg office. So for London, just call 0207 193 0403. For New York, +1 646 828 0403. And Johannesburg, +27 11 083 8403. If you prefer just to email us, go to office at the Gold and Silver Club. If you would rather just fill in the form on the website, just go to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com. You can also request information on the Gold and Silver Club live trading room and coaching program. So you can just go to that and the same link there as well. Okay, so very simply, you can find all that on our website. If you go to our website, you can subscribe to our weekly newsletter. You also get exclusive invites to our webinars. We are doing a special webinar as well next week for the FOMC. So you can find out more on our website at thegoldensilverclub.com and also subscribe to our newsletter. So that's a little bit more information if you wish to request it. So with that, that's pretty much a wrap for this week's Commodities Corner. We've got some nice trade opportunities as we open for the US session this afternoon. Good luck to all of your trading. Look forward to see you all back here next week. Big thanks to binary.com for hosting today's webinar. We wish you all a great weekend and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, so take care everybody and have a good weekend. Cheers. Bye-bye.